Hello and welcome to episode 618 of the Daily Sales Message podcast, where every single day I share a piece of simple and actionable advice that's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff too. Now, in today's episode, we're talking about how to sell like a clothes shop. Many years ago, when I was about 16, 17, something like that, 18 maybe, when I was doing my A-levels and I had free periods and free time, etc. I had a Saturday job at a shop in the UK called River Island. I worked on the till. I was known as Captain Cash Desk. I was very proud of my very tidy cash desk I used to keep, but I digress. When I joined, I was on the shop floor because they realized just how organized and trustworthy I was. I was on the floor talking to customers, helping them out, and they didn't really give you any sales training whatsoever, but they did kind of have a little chat with us on the first day. He said, this is what you do. When somebody comes into the shop, you go over to them, you've got to recognize that they're there. So you've got to say, welcome, or can I help you, or do you need any help? Would you just like to browse? So as low pressure as possible, but try and recognize and just acknowledge as many people as possible. And I know some people don't like that. Some people just like to walk into a shop and that's it. But it's kind of common courtesy and good practice to welcome. So welcome, good morning, how are you? There we go. Just not even low pressure, just no pressure, but just acknowledge them. And then from there, if somebody comes to me and says, oh, have you got this pair of shoes? Looking for this pair of jeans in this size, blah, blah, blah. What they said to us was, don't just think about the item, the single item that they're buying. Think about the whole outfit. So if somebody came to me for a pair of jeans, have you got these in a size 10 or a 34 for men or whatever? I say, yeah, let me go and have a look for you. And I bring them back and I say, great. Do you need a t-shirt to go with that? What kind of a jumper are you going to pair this with? Do you have a nice belt that would go with these jeans? Whatever it would happen to be. But it was thinking contextually and just thinking outside the box. If you imagine like a mannequin of a person and you had, say, they're asking you for the shoes, you just go to the next level. It's like, great, what trousers and socks are you wearing? Or if it was a jeans, go, great, what jumper or whatever it's wearing, and so forth. So you're just zooming out a bit, imagining the whole person, the whole outfit, and just asking them. So we're not pushing them, but we're saying, have you got a belt that goes with this, or do you need a belt? Are you okay for a belt? And they can, of course, say, no, I'm fine. But the amount of times we said, yeah, do you know what? I probably do need a new belt with that, don't I? Or, oh, I'll treat myself while I'm here. There we go. So it's a really simple and really effective method. And you can essentially shrink this down to, have you thought about, or do you need? So next time somebody's buying something from you, if there's other ancillary things that they could buy that would genuinely help them, not just any old crap you're trying to push on them, but it's actually going to help them, and you feel a bit weird about upselling people, you can use those terms. Is there anything else that you need? Or have you considered this? Have you thought about this? Simple questions. But going back to that mannequin analogy of zooming out and thinking about the whole body of the person, the whole outfit, not just, you would like some jeans, here are your jeans, thank you for buying the jeans. Trying to be less mechanical about it and more thoughtful. So have you thought about this? Are you okay for this? Do you need this? Would you like this? Very simple, low pressure questions, but you'd be astonished at the amount of people, once they are asked, who'll say, oh, I'll go on then, or, oh yeah, thank you for asking me, I didn't think about that, etc. So it's not as pushy as you might feel, but we are essentially upselling people, but we're doing so in a very thoughtful way. So there you go. My time at River Island was not wasted. That was my very first foray into any kind of sales environment. And bearing in mind, all these years later, it's made it onto the podcast. It's definitely made an impression. Right, that's it for this episode of the podcast. Tomorrow in episode 619, we're going to talk about making yourself the priority. Making yourself the priority. I'll explain what I mean by that in tomorrow's episode. In the meantime, if you haven't already, please hit a like or share or subscribe or comment in any way around this video, around this audio. It tells the algorithm that people listen and interact with the podcast, and it just helps us to reach more people. That's it for this one. I'll catch you tomorrow for a less fashion-related edition of the Daily Sales Message.